Welcome to Module 7, Assignment Part 3. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the second type of QC, Query Resolution Review. And this tends to be done really with EDC studies. So we talked earlier about how to do a CRF to or source document to database review, QC check in the assignment part 2. Now in assignment part 3, we're going to pretend that we are in an EDC database, and we're going to look at the queries that were generated, and we're going to make sure that the resolution noted in the queries is appropriate and that the database has been updated the way the query said it would be. So for this assignment, once again, I'm going to have you look at two queries or two issues, but they're both going to be for Record 1. In Part 2, we looked at Record 1 and Record 2. This time you're going to be doing everything in Record 1. That's the only patient you need to go into. You're going to be using the query resolution workflow to view your queries, and you're going to compare the resolution noted in the comments on the query with the actual eCRF data. Then, like you did in Assignment Part 2, you'll record your findings on that quality control report template. So let's first teach you how to get down into the Resolve Issues application. So I'm going to take us back over to REDCap. And this time we are going to scroll down. Let me change my screen here a little bit. We're going to scroll down to the Applications menu. And when you did your assignment in Module 6, you were working in the Data Quality section to generate your queries. Now we're going to work in the Resolve Issues section. So we're going to pull that up. And let's see if I can run the checks that I need to check over here. In this case, you're going to go to this data resolution dashboard, and you're going to have to do some filtering to look at the queries that I want you to look at, because as the dashboard is set right now, it's only showing open or unresolved queries, but the ones I want you to QC are actually queries that have been closed. So we're going to click on this Closed Resolved Queries. All right, and ta-da, here are two queries that you're going to be using for QC. First of all, remember, always check your record ID. You want to be in the right patient, and both of these are for Record 1, so we're in the right patient. Now let's go back and take a look at our instructions again. So I'm going to slide down past this because we've already done the filtering, and I want to go back and talk with you a little bit about the data you're seeing in the columns. Span this over a bit. So in this little screen, you can see a quick snapshot of the query history. You can see the data quality ruler edit check that it flagged on, which is the number of pills doses taken, and down here vital signs pulse. And you can see the user that was assigned to handle these queries, and then you can see the first update that was made on them. And let's see, I think over here, and then you can see the last update. So that's kind of a snapshot of what happened, but what we want to look at is the entire history of these queries. So I'm going to take us back over the instructions so I keep us on track here. And the first query that I want you to look at is going to be the drug accountability query. So we're going to go back to our listing, and we're going to click on the record column in record number 1. So back over to REDCap. Here's our record. It is the first one, and we're going to click on comments. And now we can see the entire history of what happened with this, not just that little snapshot. And we can see that I issued a query noting that there was a discrepancy between the three values for dose dispensed, dose taken, and dose missed data. And I asked the site to please review and confirm which is correct. Was the dose taken 25 or was the dose missed 2? Then I responded and said there is a typographical error in the first entry, and now the dose of 25, which was incorrect, has been corrected to 28, and the database is up to 28, and I note the changes there. So let's go back over to our instructions, and we're going to figure out how we get, now that we've looked at this listing and we've looked at the comments, we're going to see how we see what the actual database looks like. So we're going to go back over here, close this out, and we're going to click on record number 1, and it takes us right to the CRF that the query is generated for. And so this kind of takes you back to that loop before where you were, when you entered a query, you could come back and see what you had entered on the CRF, and now we're going back and you're looking at somebody else's work. So number of pills dose taken is over here. This is that value, which is 28, and it said that there were 30 dispensed, and then prior to this it had said there were 25 taken and 2 were missed. Our query said that it would be updated to 28, and we're just checking, and it is. So we know now that this value of 28 that's actually in the case report form, the ECRF, is matching what the query said would happen. So that's our first one. And you would record your findings in Table 2 on that quality control report. And then you need to go back and repeat this for the second query. So I want to show you that second query again. Let's see if I have it in here. I have to go back to our resolution screen. So if you can bear with me for a second, I want to show you how that works. We're going to go back to Resolve Issues. And we are going to choose Closed and Resolved Issues again. And this time we're going to look at the vital signs for this patient. So you can either look at the query first or the comments first, whatever you'd like to do. Let's take a look at the comments in this situation. So here we say that the pulse of 40 is below normal range. That probably sounds familiar. I made you do this in the query module. And the site says it was a typographical error and the correct pulse is 65, and I've updated the database to be 65. Okay, well that sounds good. We've closed the query based on that, which we shouldn't have done, because when we go back and we look at the actual case report form record, we see that pulse is still 40. So in this case, that's an error, because the query said that the pulse would be updated to 65, and that never occurred. So you would record that finding in Table 2 of your quality control report, and I'm going to come back in a second and show you how to find that quality control report and put that information in. All right.